Hello guys, welcome back again to another tutorial. In today's video I'll be sharing with you how to draft this trending one off shoulder asymmetrical neckline. If this is what you are interested in, please watch this video to the very end so you don't miss out on any detail or explanation. Now let's get started with the video. I will be using this pattern paper and all these two to draft, and as you can see, this pattern paper is folded into two. So go ahead and fold your pattern paper into two just the way I did. To draft this, the first thing you'll be doing is to rule an horizontal line of about ½ an inch at this top here. This horizontal line will serve as your starting line or shoulder line. After ruling out the starting line, the next thing is to measure your neckline measurement. The neck width I'll be working with is 3 inches and mark that on the shoulder line. Because the neckline we will be working with is a one off shoulder asymmetrical neckline, so I will just be measuring the neck width. After measuring the neckline, the next thing we'll be working on is the shoulder. So on this shoulder line or starting line, I'll be marking half of my shoulder measurement. On this point I marked half of my shoulder measurement. I will come down by 8 inches for the armhole line measurement. To get the armhole line measurement, you simply divide your bust circumference measurement by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Whatever figure you have, that is your armhole line measurement. Now I will use my ruler to connect these 2 points together on a straight line. This straight line is the armhole line, and I will also extend this line horizontally, and this horizontal line will serve as the chest line. To slanten the shoulder, because you know our shoulder is not straight, on this armhole line I will come down by ½ an inch and mark. Now I'm going to use my ruler to connect this point I came down by ½ an inch on the armhole line to the neck width measurement. Now to create the armhole curve, you simply measure what you have left on the armhole line, then you divide it by 2 by bending the tape rule like this, just the way you see me doing. Then you mark the midpoint. On this midpoint you will come in by ½ an inch and mark. Then on your chest line you simply divide your round bust measurement by 4 and mark it. After that, you're going to use your curve ruler to connect these 3 points together to create the armhole curve, just the way you see me doing. For some reason my camera stopped filming, and at that point I've gone ahead to mark all the vertical points. To mark the vertical points, you simply place your measuring tape on the shoulder line, then you come down by your bust length measurement, your under bust point measurement, your waistline measurement, then your hip line measurement. After that, you connect the points to horizontal line. After I was done with that, I decided to label all the lines. So this is the shoulder line, the chest line, the bust point, the under bust point, the waistline, and the hip line. So the next thing we will be working on is the dart. On this bust point line, I divided my nipple to nipple measurement by 2 and I marked it. So go ahead and mark half of your nipple to nipple measurement on the bust point line, on the under bust point line, on the waistline, and also on the hip line, just the way you see me doing. After that, you're going to use your ruler to connect these 3 points together on a straight line. To take the dart now, on the under bust point line, you're going to mark 1 inch on both sides. That is, you're going to mark 1 inch on the center front and 1 inch on the side front, just the way you see me doing. Now you're going to use a ruler to connect the point all the way down to the hip line, just the way you see me doing. And you will also use the curve part of the ruler to rule a curve line from this under bust points to the bust point, and you're going to do this on both sides, that is on the center front and also on the side front. To create the princess dart, you're going to connect this dart line to the armhole midpoint. You can use your free hand to connect the 2 points together, or you use your curve ruler, just the way you see me doing. Now you can see that the bust shape is now coming out. To eliminate any form of gaping on the armhole, you're going to mark a 1 inch dart, just like you did right here. So on the armhole line, you come down by 1 inch from the mid armhole. Then you're going to use your curve ruler to connect this point you came down by 1 inch on the armhole to the bust point, just the way you see me doing. To avoid shortage when we are sewing this, on this second line I'm going to extend the line by 1 inch. You know, it is better for it to be longer than to be short. You can always trim it out if it is longer. Now I'm going to use my curve ruler to redraw the armhole. Now let's mark the body measurement. Since we have already marked quarter of our bust circumference measurement on the chest line, now you're just going to measure the dart on this chest line, then you replace it. Then here on the underbust line, you're going to divide your round underbust measurement by 4 and mark it. You will measure the dart that you took on this underbust and replace it. On the waistline, you will do the same thing. You will divide the round waist measurement by 4 and mark it. Then the dart on the waistline, you will measure it, then replace it. On the hip line, you're going to mark quarter of your hip circumference measurement. You will simply divide your round hip measurement by 4 and mark it. There is no dart on this hip, so we're just going to leave it like that. After marking all the body measurement, you can decide to add your sewing allowance now, or you leave it till when you're transferring the pattern to the fabric, then you add your sewing allowance on the fabric. For me, I will be adding all the sewing allowances when I'm transferring this pattern to the fabric. Now I'm going to use my ruler to connect all of these points together like this. The side of this blouse or top is kind of stylish, so on the side you will go up by 3 inches, just the way you see me doing. After that, you're going to use your ruler to connect this point you went up by 3 inches on the side to the dart line. Then for this stylish V shape on the center front, from the waistline you'll come down by 5 inches, 4 inches or 6 inches, depending on how high or how low you want it. Then on that point you will come in by 0.25 inch. Then you're going to use your ruler to connect these 2 points together like this. After that, you'll connect this line to the dart line like this. So guys, we are basically done drafting this part. The next thing we're going to be working on is the neckline. So for us to work on our asymmetrical neckline, you're going to use your tracing wheel to trace out what we just drafted on this other face, or if you don't have a tracing wheel, you can go ahead to draft what we just did here. For me, I will use my tracing wheel to trace out all this line. So guys, this is what I have after I was done tracing out the lines. To create the one off shoulder asymmetrical neckline, now you have to decide which of the shoulder you want to remove. For me, I'll be removing the right shoulder. Now to do this, I'm going to use my ruler to connect from this shoulder line to the armhole line like this. While on this second shoulder, I'm going to create the keyhole here. To create the keyhole on the slanted shoulder, from the armhole line, I will come in by 2 inches. Then on this point, I came in by 2 inches from the armhole line. I will go out by 1 inch, just the way you see me doing. I'm sorry that my arm is blocking the camera. Now to mark the depth of the keyhole, you have to decide how deep you want your keyhole. So from the shoulder line at the center, that is this crease line you're seeing, I came down by 6 inches and mark. Then on this point, I marked the 6 inches. I'm going to go in by half an inch from the center. Now I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect this point to the shoulder. Just watch the way I am doing this, then do the same thing, you will get it. After creating the keyhole, the next thing I'm going to do is to use my ruler to highlight this midline, that is this crease line you're seeing right here. If you notice on the style inspiration, the center front are both joined together, so I'm going to use my ruler and marker to highlight it like this, then I will cut it. So guys, we are basically done drafting the front pattern. Now let's cut it out. So guys, this is how your front pattern should look like after cutting it out. Now I'll keep this front pattern aside while we work on the back pattern. So guys, this is the pattern paper that we'll be using to draft the back pattern, and as you can see, this pattern paper is folded into two. The first thing you're going to be doing on your pattern paper is to row an horizontal line of about 1/2 inch. This horizontal line is going to serve as your shoulder line. After that, you're just going to mark your neck width measurement on the shoulder line. The neck width measurement we are working with is 3 inches. Still on the shoulder line, you're going to mark half of your shoulder measurement. Half of the shoulder measurement I am working with is 7.5 inches, so I mark that on the shoulder line. On this point you marked half of your shoulder measurement, you're going to mark down your armhole line measurement. To get your armhole line measurement, you simply divide your bust circumference measurement by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Whatever figure you have, that is your armhole line measurement. For me, my armhole line measurement after calculating it is 8 inches. Now I'm going to use ruler to connect the 2 points together on a straight line. This straight line is the armhole line, and I will also extend this line horizontally like this, and this horizontal line will serve as the chest line. To slanten the shoulder on the armhole line, you will come down by 1/2 inch and make a point here. Now I'm going to use my ruler to connect this point to the neck width. To create the armhole curve, you're going to measure what is left on the armhole line. Then you will divide it by 2 by bending the tape rule like this and mark the midpoint. On this midpoint, you will come in by 1/2 inch and make a mark. Then here on the chest line, you will simply divide your bust circumference measurement by 4 and mark. Now you're going to use your curve ruler to connect these 3 points together to create the armhole curve. The next thing we are going to do is to mark out our vertical line. So I'll place the measuring tape on the shoulder line like this, and I'll come down to the bust length measurement, which is 10 inches. I mark that. Then from my shoulder to the waistline is 16 inches. I mark that. Then from the shoulder to the hip line is 24 inches. I mark that. Now I'm going to use my ruler to connect all of these points together horizontally. To eliminate any form of zipper bulge on the back, on the waistline, I will go in by 1 inch and I'll make a mark. After that, I'm going to use my ruler to connect this point that I came down by 1 inch on the waistline to the chest line, and I will also connect this point from the waistline to the hip line like this. To mark the back dart on the waistline, you're going to mark half of your nipple to nipple measurements. You're going to mark this measurement from this 1 inch point you mark on the waistline. After that, you're going to use your ruler to connect this point that you mark from the chest line all the way to the hip line. To mark the dart leg on both sides, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to use my ruler to connect all of these points like this. As you can see, I extended the dart to the chest line. At this point, if you don't want your back to be a princess dart, you can leave it like this. But if you want a princess dart, you're just going to connect your dart from the chest line to the mid armhole like this. Now let's mark our body measurements. Guys, when marking your body measurements, make sure all your measurements are taken on this zipper bulge line, okay? So on the waistline, I mark 1/4 of my waist circumference measurement. Then I measure the dart that I took and I replace it on the waistline. Then on this hip line, I'm going to mark 1/4 of the hip circumference measurement. Since we didn't take any darts here, there's no need to replace anything. And now I'm going to use my ruler to connect all of these points together like this. To curve the side, just as we did on the front pattern, on the side I'm going to go up by 3 inches. After that, I'm going to use my ruler to connect the points to the dart. Now I'm going to use my tracing wheel to trace out all this line that I have drafted. So guys, this is what I have after I was done using my marker to rule out the lines. To work on the sleeve, you're just going to place your front pattern on the back pattern so that you get where the asymmetrical neckline is. And after I've gotten it, I use my marker to mark the point like this. Now I'm going to use my ruler to connect these 2 points together just the way you see me doing. Now let's cut this out. So guys, if you don't want a princess dart, like I said earlier, this is how your back pattern should look like. But if you want a princess dart, then you'll go ahead to cut out the dart just the way you see me doing. So guys, we are basically done drafting this princess dart bustier blouse with an asymmetrical neckline. If you want the sewing tutorial of this pattern, let me know in the comment section. Or if you have any suggested style you want me to recreate, let me know in the comment section as well. And if you find this video really helpful, encourage me by giving this video a thumb up. And if you haven't subscribed, do well to subscribe, turn on your post notification to get notified when I drop new video. For now, bye. See you all in my next one.